The spaceship floated alone in the darkness of space. It was broken and silent. No one was flying it anymore. Inside this ship was a large, wolf-like creature. Her name was Neri. She was not from Earth. She came from a faraway planet. Her fur was silver and shiny. Her eyes were deep blue and full of wisdom. Neri was chained to the wall of the cargo room. The metal chains were cold and heavy. They hurt her legs. Next to her were 4 small pups. They were her babies. They were thin and weak. They had not eaten for many days. The ship used to belong to alien traders called Vexorians. They were tall, scaly beings who caught rare animals and sold them for money. They had captured Neri and her pups from their home planet. They planned to sell them to rich collectors who would pay a lot for such rare creatures. Neri's kind, the Lorians, were special. They looked like wolves, but they were very smart. They could feel what others were feeling. Some could even share thoughts without speaking. This made them valuable. It also made them hunted. 3 days ago, something went wrong with the ship. It started making loud noises. Red lights flashed everywhere. The Vexorians got into small escape pods and left quickly. They did not free Neri and her pups. They left them to die. "We will come back with help," one Vexorian had said. But Neri knew he was lying. She could feel it. They were not coming back. Now the ship was getting colder. The air was getting thinner. The lights would flicker on and off. Soon, there would be no air to breathe. Neri looked at her pups. The smallest one, a female with a white spot on her chest, was breathing very slowly. She might not last another day. The other 3 were a little stronger, but still in danger. "Be brave, little ones," Neri said in her language of soft growls and small yips. "We must not give up." She pulled against her chains again. The metal cut into her skin. She had been trying to break free for days. Her legs were raw and bleeding, but the chains would not break. Outside the small window of the cargo room, Neri could see stars. Somewhere out there was a space station. She had seen it when the Vexorians were still on board. If only someone from that station would find them. Neri was not just worried about herself and her current pups. She worried about her whole kind. The Lorians were becoming fewer and fewer. Hunters had killed so many of them. Their home forests were being cut down. Their planet was being taken over by others. She and her pups might be among the last Lorians left. If they died here, a piece of the universe's wonder would be gone forever. With all her remaining strength, Neri lifted her head and howled. It was a long, sad sound that echoed through the empty ship. No one could hear it in the vacuum of space, but still she howled. It was all she could do. The sound woke her pups. They joined her with their smaller voices. Together, their cries filled the abandoned ship. It was a song of sorrow, of fear, but also of hope. As the ship drifted closer to the space station, Neri's keen eyes spotted something. The small ship was moving toward them. It was probably just passing by, but Neri howled louder anyway. "Please," she thought, directing her feelings toward the approaching ship. "Please help us." The small ship changed course. It was coming toward them now. Neri's heart beat faster. Could it be? Was someone actually coming? For the first time in many dark days, Neri felt a tiny spark of hope. Dr. Taho Kim was tired. He had been working for 16 hours straight at the medical center on Space Station Epsilon 9. As the only human veterinarian on the station, he took care of all kinds of alien animals. Today he had treated a 6-legged cat from Mars, a glowing lizard from Jupiter's moons, and a talking bird from a planet so far away that humans had no name for it yet. Taiho was flying back from getting medical supplies. His small ship was simple but fast. He liked to fly alone. It gave him time to think. A loud beeping sound broke the quiet. Taiho looked at his ship's screen. It showed a weak signal coming from nearby. "That's strange," he said to himself. "No one should be out here." The signal was a call for help. It was very faint. It might stop at any moment. Taiho knew the rules. He should call station security and wait. But the signal was so weak. By the time help came, it might be too late. Rules are important, Tai-ho said, but lives are more important. He turned his ship toward the signal. Soon he saw another ship floating in the darkness. It was much bigger than his. It was an old Vexorian trading vessel. Its lights were off. It was just drifting in space. Tai-ho flew closer. He could see damage on the ship's side. Something bad had happened here. "This is Dr. Tai-ho Kim from Epsilon 9, he said into his radio. "Is anyone there? Do you need help?" No one answered. Tai-ho brought his ship next to the big one. He put on his spacesuit and helmet. He made sure his air tank was full. Then he pushed off from his ship and floated to the Vexorian vessel. The door to the ship was open. That was not a good sign. Tai-ho went inside. He turned on the light on his helmet. The hallways were dark and cold. "Hello," he called. "Is anyone here?" The only answer was a strange sound. It was like crying, but not human crying. It was coming from deep inside the ship. Tai-ho followed the sound. He had to push through doors that were stuck. He had to climb over broken parts of the ship. The air was bad. His suit told him that the oxygen was almost gone. Someone is still alive here, he thought, but not for long. The crying sound got louder. Tai-ho came to a big door marked cargo. It was locked. Tai-ho took out his medical toolkit. He used a laser cutter to open the lock. The door slid open with a loud noise. The light from his helmet shined into the room. At first, Tai-ho saw only boxes and crates. Then his light found something else. Something alive. In the corner was a large animal. It looked like the wolves from Earth, but bigger. Its fur was silver and seemed to glow in his light. Its eyes were blue and full of fear and anger. The wolf-like creature was chained to the wall. Around it were 4 smaller creatures. They were like puppies. They were very thin. They looked sick. Tai-ho stood very still. In all his years as a vet, he had never seen animals like these. Lorians, he whispered. He had heard stories about them. Smart, beautiful wolf creatures from a distant planet. They were almost extinct. Many people thought they were just legends. The big Lorian growled at him. She was trying to protect her pups. Tai-ho knelt down slowly. He put his medical scanner on the floor and slid it toward the creatures. The scanner would tell him how hurt they were. "I won't harm you," Tai-ho said softly. "I'm here to help." He knew the Lorian couldn't understand his words, but maybe she could understand that he meant no harm. The scanner beeped. The results made Tai-ho's heart sink. The Lorians were dying. They needed help right away. Tai-ho moved back slowly. The big Lorian was still growling. Her blue eyes never left him. She was weak but ready to fight if he came too close to her pups. "I understand," Tai-ho said softly. "You are a mother protecting your babies." He sat down on the cold floor, a few meters away from the Lorians. He would not rush. He would not force help on them. That would only make things worse. So Tai-ho waited. He took off his helmet in the thin air. It would be harder to breathe. But the Lorian needed to see his face. She needed to know he was not a Vexorian. The minutes passed slowly. Tai-ho and the Lorian just looked at each other. The pups whimpered softly. "My name is Tai-ho," he said. "I am a doctor for animals. I help creatures who are sick or hurt." The Lorian tilted her head. She seemed to be listening. Tai-ho opened his medical bag very slowly. "I have food and water. Your babies need it." He took out a small bowl and filled it with clean water. He placed it on the floor and pushed it toward the Lorians with his foot. It stopped just within reach of the mother's chains. The Lorian looked at the water, then back at Tai-ho. She was still not sure if she could trust him. "It's okay," Tai-ho said. "It's just water." One of the pups tried to move toward the bowl. It was so weak it could barely walk. The mother gently pulled it back with her paw. Then, still watching Tai-ho, The mother stretched her neck and sniffed the water. Slowly, she lapped a little with her tongue. She waited, as if checking that it was not poison. Then she let her pups drink. Tai-Ho smiled. It was a small first step. Next, he took out some protein bars from his bag. These were made for all kinds of alien life forms. They had basic nutrients that most creatures could digest. He broke off small pieces and put them near the water bowl. The Lorians ate them quickly. While they ate, Tai-Ho checked his scanner again. The air in the ship was getting worse. In a few hours, there would be no oxygen left. They did not have much time. "We need to get you out of here," he said. "But first, those chains must come off." He showed the Lorian his laser cutter. She growled again. "I know it looks scary," Tai-Ho said, "but it will cut the chains, not you." To show her what he meant, Tai-Ho cut a small piece of metal from a nearby crate. The Lorian watched with interest. Tai-Ho moved a little closer. The Lorian's growl got louder. "Please," he said, "I can't leave you here." Something changed in the Lorian's eyes. Maybe it was because the food had given her strength. Maybe it was because she could see Tai-Ho was different from the Vexorians. Or maybe, just maybe, she could somehow understand what Tai-Ho was trying to do. She stopped growling. She stretched her leg with the chain toward him. Tai-Ho moved forward slowly. The pups backed away, hiding behind their mother. One of them, the smallest with a white spot on her chest, still looked very sick. With steady hands, Tai-Ho brought the laser cutter to the chain. He was careful not to let the hot beam touch the Lorian's fur or skin. One by one, the links of the chain melted away. When the last chain fell away, the Lorian pulled her leg back. She stood up on shaky legs. She was even more beautiful and impressive than Tai-Ho had first thought. For a long moment, Tai-Ho and the Lorian just looked at each other. Then she dipped her head slightly, a clear gesture of thanks. A loud alarm broke the silence. The ship's systems were failing fast. "We need to go," Tai-Ho said, putting his helmet back on. Now, the ship shook hard. Lights flashed red. A computer voice spoke over and over. "Warning. Life support failing. Evacuation required." Tai-Ho looked at the Lorian mother. "Can you walk? We need to get to my ship." The Lorian stood tall. She nudged her pups to their feet. All except one. The smallest pup, the one with the white spot on its chest, was too weak to stand. Without asking, Tai-Ho gently picked up the small pup. The mother watched him closely but did not stop him. She seemed to know her baby needed help. "This way," Tai-Ho said. He led them through the dark hallways. The mother Lorian carried one of her weaker pups in her mouth. The other two followed close behind. They reached the door where Tai-Ho had entered the ship. His small medical vessel was still attached to the side. "We need to move quickly," Tai-Ho said. "My ship is small, but it will fit all of us." Just then, his radio crackled. "Attention, unidentified vessel at Sector 7. This is Epsilon 9 security. Identify yourself immediately." Tai-Ho froze. If station security found out he had Lorians, there would be trouble. Lorians were protected by law. They were supposed to be taken to special places where they would be safe. But Tai-Ho knew the truth. Many protected animals disappeared on the way to those places. They were sold in secret to rich people who collected rare creatures. "I need to answer them," Tai-Ho told the Lorian mother. "But I won't tell them about you. Not yet." He pressed his radio button. "This is Dr. Kim. I found an abandoned Vexorian ship. I am checking for survivors. Return to the station at once, Doctor," the voice ordered. "A security team will inspect the vessel." "Understood," Tai-Ho said. "Returning now." He turned to the Lorians. "We must hurry." One by one, they moved through the space door into Tai-Ho's ship. The mother went last, still watching Tai-Ho carefully. Inside his ship, Tai-Ho put the small pup on his medical table. The little one was barely breathing. "Your baby is very sick," he told the mother Lorian. I need to help it now. The mother seemed to understand. She stayed close, watching everything Taiho did. Taiho's hands moved quickly. He gave the pup clean oxygen. He used a small device to warm its body. He prepared a special mix of nutrients and vitamins that would help it get stronger. But suddenly, the small pup stopped breathing. "No," Taiho whispered. "Come on, little one." He had never treated a Lorian before, but he had helped many animals from Earth and other planets. He knew what to do. With gentle fingers, Taiho pressed on the pup's chest. He breathed small puffs of air into its mouth. The mother Lorian whined softly, worried. "Don't give up," Taiho told the pup. "Your mother needs you. Your brothers and sisters need you." For what seemed like a very long time, nothing happened. Then, the little pup made a tiny sound. Its chest began to move up and down again. It was breathing. Taiho smiled. "That's it. Good job, little fighter." In his mind, Taiho called the pup my son. It meant beautiful goodness in his language. It seemed right for this brave little one. As Taiho worked on the pup, his ship moved away from the Vexorian vessel. He needed to get back to Epsilon 9 station, but he could not bring the Lorians there directly. It was too dangerous. "I have a plan," he told the mother Lorian, as if she could understand him. "I know a safe place where you and your babies can get better. Then we will find a real home for you." The mother Lorian looked at Taiho with her deep blue eyes. Somehow, Taiho felt she understood every word. Taiho lived in a small apartment on level 3 of Epsilon 9 station. It was not big, but it had 2 rooms. He had never thought he would need more space. Now, with 4 Lorian pups and their mother, his home felt very crowded. "This will have to do for now," he told the Lorians as he closed the door behind them. Getting them into the station had not been easy. Taiho had docked his ship at a quiet bay where few people went. He had put the Lorians in large medical boxes with air holes. On the outside, he wrote "medical samples, keep frozen." No one had stopped him. Now, in his apartment, Taiho turned his second room into a place for the Lorians. He put down soft blankets for them to sleep on. He filled bowls with clean water. He got out all the medical supplies he had. The mother Lorian watched him work. She seemed calmer now. The pups were sleeping in a pile, even little my son, who was breathing better. "You need a name," Taiho said to the mother. "I can't just call you the Lorian. How about Nari? It means lily in my language, a beautiful flower." The Lorian's ears perked up at the name. Taiho smiled. "Nari it is, then." There was a knock at the door. Taiho froze. Who could that be? "Stay quiet," he whispered to Nari. He closed the door to the second room. When he opened his front door, he saw his neighbor and friend, Yunji Park. She was a scientist who studied alien life forms. "Taiho, are you okay?" she asked. "I heard you came back from your supply run with some trouble." "I'm fine," Taiho said too quickly. "Just tired." Yunji looked at him closely. "You're hiding something. I know that look." Just then, a small whine came from the second room. Yunji's eyes widened. "What was that? Do you have an animal in there?" Taiho sighed. He could not lie to Yunji, and maybe she could help. "You have to promise not to tell anyone," he said. Yunji nodded. "I promise." Taiho led her into the second room. When she saw the Lorians, she gasped. "Are those real Lorians? I thought they were almost extinct." "They are," Taiho said. "I found them on an abandoned ship. They were going to die." Yunji knelt down to look at the sleeping pups. "They're beautiful. Will you help me?" Taiho asked. "I need to keep them safe until they are strong enough to travel. Then I need to find a place where they will be protected." Yunji did not hesitate. "Of course I'll help. But we have to be careful. If Minho finds out, he will report them." Minho Lee was Taiho's boss at the medical center. He always followed the rules exactly. and the rules said Lorians had to be turned over to Galactic Animal Protection right away. Over the next few days, Taiho and Eunji took turns caring for the Lorians. Eunji brought food and medicine. Taiho stayed home from work, saying he was sick. The pups grew stronger each day. They played and explored Taiho's apartment when he let them out of the second room. My son, the smallest pup, liked to sit on Taiho's lap while he read medical books. Nari, the mother, began to show how smart she really was. She learned to open doors with her paws. She seemed to understand when Taiho and Eunji talked. One day, she even brought Taiho his medical bag when he asked for it. "These are not just animals," Eunji said. "Their brains are special. Look at the scans I took. The part that handles thinking and feeling is almost as big as a human's." Taiho nodded. "I think they understand us. Not just our words, but our feelings too." As if to prove him right, Nari came over and put her head on his knee. Her blue eyes seemed to say, "Thank you for saving us." Taiho patted her head gently. "You're welcome, Nari. You're safe now." But they were not really safe. Not yet. A week passed. The Lorians were getting stronger. My son could run and play with her brothers and sisters now. Nari was teaching her pups how to be quiet when anyone knocked on the door. Taiho knew they could not stay in his apartment forever. The Lorians needed space to run. They needed fresh air, not the recycled air of the space station. "I think I found a place," Eunji told Taiho one evening. She showed him pictures of a small planet not far from Epsilon 9. "It has forests and lakes. Not many people live there. The Lorians could be safe." "How do we get them there?" Taiho asked. "We would need a ship and permission to leave." "I'm working on that," Eunji said. "Give me a few more days." That night, Taiho got a call from the medical center. It was Minho, his boss. "Dr. Kim," Minho said, "you have been sick for a long time. I need to check on you. I am coming to your apartment tomorrow morning." Taiho could not say no. It would look too strange. "Of course, sir. I will be here." After the call ended, Taiho looked at Nari with worried eyes. "We need to hide you and your pups tomorrow. My boss is coming." Early the next morning, Taiho moved the Lorians to his small bathroom. It was the only room without windows. He put food and water there for them. "Stay quiet," he told them, "just for a few hours." At 9 o'clock, Minho arrived. He was a tall, thin man with small eyes that never seemed to blink. "Dr. Kim," he said, "you look well for someone who has been so sick." "I am feeling better," Taiho said. "I will come back to work soon." Minho walked around the apartment, looking at everything. "Your place is very clean," he said. "And what is that smell?" "Like wet fur." Taiho's heart beat faster. "I spilled some medicine." He lied. "It has a strange smell." Minho nodded, but his eyes were cold. He did not believe Taiho. Just as Minho was about to leave, a small sound came from the bathroom. It was a tiny bark. My son had made a noise. Minho turned to the bathroom door. "What was that?" "Just the water pipes," Taiho said quickly. "They make noises sometimes." Minho walked to the bathroom door. "May I use your bathroom before I go?" Before Taiho could stop him, Minho opened the door. Taiho held his breath. But the bathroom was empty. No sign of Nari or her pups. Minho used the bathroom and then left the apartment. "Feel better soon, Dr. Kim," he said. As soon as he was gone, Taiho ran to the bathroom. "Nari, where are you?" He looked everywhere. Then he noticed the air vent near the floor. It was open. Somehow, Nari had opened it and hidden her family inside the air system of the station. "Clever girl," Taiho whispered. That afternoon, Taiho had to go out for more food and medicine. Eunji stayed at his apartment to wait for the Lorians to come back. When Taiho returned, he found his door broken open. Inside, Eunji was lying on the floor. She had a bump on her head. "Eunji." Tai-ho helped her sit up. What happened? Min-ho, she said weakly. He came back with security officers. They took the Lorians. I tried to stop them, but they pushed me down. Tai-ho felt cold with fear. Where did they take them? I heard Min-ho tell the officers to take them to Docking Bay 7. He said someone was paying a lot of money for rare Lorians. Tai-ho checked his computer. Min-ho had just received a large payment to his bank account. He was selling the Lorians to a private collector. We have to save them, Tai-ho said. His hands made fists at his sides. Yun-ji nodded. But how? We can't fight security officers. Tai-ho thought for a moment. Then his eyes lit up. We don't need to fight them. We just need to be smarter than them. Tai-ho moved quickly. There was not much time. Can you walk? He asked Yun-ji. She stood up slowly. Yes. My head hurts, but I can help. Good. I need you to go to the control room. You have access there, right? Yun-ji nodded. Yes. What do you want me to do? Create a problem with the air system on level 5. Nothing dangerous, just enough to make people leave that area. I can do that, Yun-ji said. What will you do? Tai-ho went to his closet and took out a small box. Inside was something that looked like a gun, but it was not a weapon. It was a medical tool used to give medicine to large animals from far away. I will get the Lorians back, he said simply. They split up. Yun-ji went to the control room. Tai-ho headed for Docking Bay 7. When he got close, he saw 2 security guards at the door. Behind them was a shiny silver ship. It belonged to Jae-won-do, a rich man who collected rare animals from all over the galaxy. Tai-ho hid behind some boxes and waited. Soon, alarms started to ring. A voice spoke over the station speakers. Warning, air problem on level 5. All people must leave level 5 now. The guards looked at each other. One of them said, we should check what is happening. But we were told to stay here, the other guard said. Just then, their radio made a noise. It was Min-ho. Leave one guard at the door. The other should go help with the problem on level 5. One guard left. Now there was only one man between Tai-ho and the Lorians. Tai-ho took out his medical gun. He loaded it with a sleep drug. It would not hurt the guard, just make him sleep for an hour. With careful aim, Tai-ho shot the guard in the arm. The guard looked surprised, then fell down asleep. Tai-ho ran to the ship. Inside, he found Min-ho and 2 men he did not know. They were putting the Lorians in cages. Nari was fighting hard, but they had tied her mouth shut so she could not bite. Stop, Tai-ho shouted. Min-ho turned around. His eyes got big with surprise. Dr. Kim, what are you doing here? Saving the Lorians, Tai-ho said. What you are doing is wrong. They are not just animals. They are smart. They feel. They think. Min-ho laughed. They are worth a lot of money. That is all that matters. One of the men moved toward Tai-ho. He was big and looked strong. Get rid of him, Min-ho ordered. What happened next surprised everyone, especially Min-ho. Most aliens did not know that all humans who worked in space had to learn how to fight. It was part of their training. Doctors, teachers, cooks, everyone learned how to protect themselves. Humans came from a hard planet where they had to be tough to survive. As the big man reached for him, Tai-ho moved like water. He stepped to the side. He grabbed the man's arm. With a quick turn, he flipped the man over his shoulder. The man hit the floor hard. The second man pulled out a weapon. Tai-ho kicked it from his hand. Then he hit the man in the chest with his open palm. The man fell down, unable to breathe for a moment. Min-ho backed away, his face white with fear. How did you do that? You are just a vet. I am a human, Tai-ho said. We protect those who need help. It is what we do. He turned to the cages where the Lorians were kept. But before he could open them, a strange thing happened. Nari's eyes began to glow bright blue. The ropes around her mouth seemed to burn away. She stood tall in her cage, looking straight at Tai-ho. Then Tahoe heard a voice in his head. It was not his voice. It was Neri. "Free us," she said in his mind, "and I will show you who we really are." Tahoe froze. He had heard Neri speak in his mind. It was impossible, but it had happened. "You can talk," he whispered. "Not with words from my mouth," Neri's voice said in his head, "but with thoughts. Free us, Tahoe. Hurry." Tahoe snapped out of his shock. He ran to the cages and opened them. The pups jumped out first. Then Neri stepped out, her blue eyes still glowing. Minho had backed into a corner. "What is happening? What are they?" "They are Lorians," Tahoe said. "And they are not animals for you to sell." Security alarms began to ring. More guards would come soon. "We must leave now," Neri said in Tahoe's mind. "This ship will take us away from the station." Tahoe nodded. "Can you fly it?" "I can make it work," Neri replied. Minho tried to run for the door, but Tahoe caught him. "You are coming with us," he said, "so you can tell the truth about what you did." They tied up Minho and the two men who were still knocked out. Then Neri did something amazing. She put her paw on the ship's control panel. Her eyes glowed even brighter. The ship's engines started to hum. "How are you doing that?" Tahoe asked. "It is time you learned the truth about us," Neri said. Her voice in his mind was sad but clear. As the ship lifted off from the station, Neri shared her memories with Tahoe. He saw images of a beautiful green planet with 2 moons. He saw cities built in huge trees. And he saw Lorians walking on 2 legs, using tools, reading books. "We were not always on 4 legs," Neri told him. "Long ago, we stood tall like you. We built cities. We studied the stars. We had art and music." More images filled Tahoe's mind. Ships coming from the sky. Strange beings with weapons, fire, and smoke. "They came to our world 100 years ago," Neri continued. "The Vexorians and others. They wanted our land. They wanted the special crystals that grew in our mountains. When we said no, they attacked us." Tahoe saw Lorians fighting back, using their mind powers to defend themselves. But there were too many enemies with too many weapons. "They feared our mind powers," Neri said. "So they made a poison that changed us. It made us look more like animals. It made it hard for us to stand on 2 legs. It weakened our mind powers. Then they told everyone in the galaxy that we were just smart animals." Tahoe felt sick. "That is horrible. How many of your people are left?" "Very few," Neri said. "Some were taken as pets or to zoos. Some hide in the forests of our world. The Vexorians control our planet now. They tell everyone that Lorians are almost extinct. They do not say that they caused it. But you can still use your mind powers," Tahoe said. "A little," Neri replied. "It comes back slowly. Being around you has helped. Your kindness, your belief that we were special. It made me remember who I really am." The pups came to sit by their mother. My son, the smallest one, put her paw on Tahoe's hand. "My children have never seen our home world," Neri said. "They were born in cages, but they carry the memory of who we once were. It is in our blood." Tahoe looked out the window of the ship. They were far from the station now. "I will help you," he promised. "I will tell everyone the truth about the Lorians. There are good humans who will stand with you. We will find others of your kind." For the first time, Tahoe saw Neri do something like a smile. "I believe you," she said in his mind. "That is why I trusted you from the beginning. I saw something in your heart that reminded me of the best of my people." As the ship flew through space, Tahoe made a silent promise. He would not rest until the Lorians had justice. 6 months passed since Tahoe and the Lorians escaped from Epsilon 9 Station. Many things had changed. When they first arrived on Earth, Tahoe had shown the video he had made. It was proof of what Minho had done. It showed Neri using her mind powers. It showed the Lorians were not just animals. The Earth government had been shocked. They sent people to talk to Neri. They did tests that proved Lorians were as smart as humans. Earth had only joined the galactic community 30 years ago. Humans were still new to space travel. They had believed what others told them about Lorians being just smart animals. Now they knew the truth. This is a crime against a whole people, the Earth president had said. We will not be part of it. Earth had opened a place for Lorians. It was a large area of land with forests and lakes. It was protected by strong walls and guards. No one could enter without permission. Today, Taiho was visiting this place. His small ship landed near the main building. Yunji was with him. She had quit her job at Epsilon 9 to help with the Lorian project. Do you think more have arrived? She asked as they walked toward the forest. The last report said they found 20 more. Taiho said. That makes almost 100 now. Earth ships had been searching for Lorians across the galaxy. They had found them in private collections, in zoos, in research labs. All were brought to the safe place on Earth. As Taiho and Yunji entered the forest, they heard a familiar voice in their minds. You are late, Neri said. She appeared from between the trees. She was larger now, stronger. Her blue eyes were bright. Sorry, Taiho said with a smile. Earth traffic is bad today. Nari led them deeper into the forest. They came to a clearing with small houses built around the trees. Lorians moved around the area. Some walked on 4 legs like Nari. Others, who had been taking special medicine, could stand on 2 legs for short times. My son ran to meet them. The once tiny pup was now nearly grown. She had learned to speak with her mouth, not just her mind, by watching humans. Taiho, she said in a rough voice. Yunji, I have news. What news? Yunji asked. We found something. My son was excited. In old Vexorian files. A cure for what they did to us. A way to change back. Taiho looked at Neri. Is this true? We think so, Neri replied in his mind. Earth scientists are working on it now. It may take years, but there is hope. Hope that my children might one day walk tall again. Might build again. Might be what we once were. Taiho felt tears in his eyes. I am so happy for you. None of this would have happened without you, Neri said. Without one human who saw us as more than animals. They walked through the Lorian village. More and more Lorians were coming each month. Some had been hiding for generations. Others had been kept as pets by people who never knew what they really were. The Earth government had filed charges against the Vexorians in the Galactic Court. The case was being heard now. If Earth won, the Lorians might one day get their home planet back. What will you do when we can go home? Taiho asked Neri. Some will go, she said. Others will stay here. Earth has been kind to us, and some of us have made friends here we do not want to leave. My son pressed her head against Taiho's hand. I will stay, she said. I want to learn to be a doctor like you. Taiho laughed. A Lorian vet. That would be something. As the sun set over the Lorian village, Taiho thought about how one small choice had changed so much. He had broken rules to help what he thought were just animals in need. He had discovered a lost people instead. Humans were still new in space. They made mistakes, but when they learned the truth, they tried to make things right. That was their strength, not their technology or their weapons, but their willingness to see others as equals, their willingness to help those who could not help themselves. In a galaxy full of older and more powerful species, perhaps that was why humans would find their place.